on my way back to Lexington from Dayton, we had an okay night. Certainly not the night anywhere near I wanted. In the stake races, we got paid with all but one horse. And Think of Galaxies didn't have a great night, but I suspect why. It's a long ship for her. Outside post off 2 weeks. I give you a whole bunch of excuses, but at the end of the day, a flat race for her, which is rare. She's had like 4 or 5 wins for us and 3 bad races now, and she's bounced back quickly from all 3 poor performances. So I suspect this will be another one. Just have to check her blood to make sure that she didn't tie up, which she very well could have. But I suspect, regardless of what is found, big thing was she didn't bleed. There's no mucus, so she'll bounce back. Now, obviously, this week will be all about the babies. We'll be all about Lexington, Kentucky for the next 7 days. We were treated to a pretty good race on what day was that? Thursday from Pickpocket. And although he was underscored because he was 5th, a great race from Memory and Imagination. Also, we'll rewind all the way back to the week. We had a decent week at the track. We had some horses I thought would do better than they did that really faltered a bit. We had a couple of horses that are obviously sitting on big miles. I'll talk to you about them, and we'll talk about the horses that maybe faltered and what we're going to do different there. The bulk of this video, the bulk of the opening, we'll be talking about some of the babies we looked at. Now, to be fair, Amy and I only looked at 2 consignments so far in Kentucky. So you guys will have lots of videos. We'll do another video, I guess, looking at all the consignments we looked at on Sunday. But for now, I wanted to make sure that I got an opening video for everybody, because it's not just about the babies, right? We still are racing horses. We still have stake horses racing. And it's about the stable. So, started off Monday. We had a great start to the week. Wallop and Sintra won in 2 very different ways and looked very, very good. Wallop, man, it's just a surprise that I think somebody said the final goes for 150. So they go for 40, 40, 40, 40, 150. And he looks like one of the better horses in there. Now, Scott said he won the other division and the horse was a little faster, but he said, you know, Wallop got loose on the front and I just left him alone. He said, it's hard to gauge for me sitting behind him once how fast he can go. We already know he can trot 57 on a half. And I'm sure he'll trot 55, 56, especially coming off 4 wins in a row, I think they said. 4 wins in a row. He's razor sharp right now and looking for a fight. And I suspect if Scott can't go and drive him, he's at the sale, he's playing golf. He said, I'm not going this week and going next week. So Yannick is going to fill in for Scott this week. Yannick Shingra, he never misses anything, eh? He said at dinner that the other night, Scott goes, oh, I'm not going. He goes, oh, I can drive your horse. I said, okay. Yeah, no problem. I'll be there. So Yannick always stays on top of his business. Well, he's supposed to. It is his business. So Yannick Shingra is going to drive Wallop on Monday. I'd say a pretty suitable fill-in. You know, as I said to Yannick, Scott will get the drive back after that, but you know, because it makes it 54, what we're going to do. So we'll see how it plays out. But ultimately, the point being that Wallop is on the top of his game right now, and he's been a very good acquisition for us. We've been fortunate this year. We've made some very, very fortuitous acquisitions. Wallop being one. Think of Galaxies, regardless of tonight, being another. Who else did we buy that was really good? I think I'm missing a couple of big ones. I'll get to them. They'll come to me. So Wallop was great, and that was nice to see. What's that? Yeah, he was okay. He was very sick the other day. His weight count was... So, Amy said the Sliver horse. Now, condition claimer type, but he's been a good horse, and I knew he let go the other night. Scope wasn't horrible, but his weight count was 15.5. So for those of you that are horsemen out there, you know it's supposed to be around half that. Around half that. So a lot. That guy's in a big hurry. So a lot, and I think he's going with him. These guys are driving very dangerous.
They're doing that on purpose.
Well, yeah, of course. For a crazy driving day. What was I talking about? Oh, this purchase. It doesn't matter. We've had some luck with the purchases that we've made. Let's just leave it at that. I'm not going to go on about the ones we made because obviously we've had plenty that have not gone forward. So let's not pat ourselves in the back too much. We've had a very lucky year buying some horses, I think is what I'm trying to say. Cintra raced good. It was nice to see him race well. He didn't get in at Grand River, and I know that they were looking for him at Mohawk, and I said, Harry knows the score. No more Mohawk for this guy right now, and, you know, I am looking for other avenues for him, and the way that Serious Dragon raced. I know Harry, he watches the videos too, and he knows that, you know, I don't have to tell him that. When you go on the track at 25-1 and you finish 7th, you gotta answer some questions. Me, I mean, not Harry. He's done his job. The horse did everything he could. Does he belong in that class? Would he have been bet down if he was a little bit lower? Would he have raced well if James was driving him in a 3 or 4 hole? I don't know. We have options with him. He can go to the Meadows. He can come back to Dayton, I suppose. But for right now, I guess we're going to ponder what we're going to do with him. And Cintra's in the same boat. You know, when he gets up in the preferred, are they going to go in 51 again? It's the first night he gets his head beat in again. Probably going to be going somewhere a little easier, a little softer, but that on itself, I need everybody to understand, just because a horse races bad doesn't mean that I have a nicer place for him to race. Now, we're fortunate in the sense that we race everywhere, so if there is a racing opportunity for our horses, and it can't just be, oh, we're going to ship Cintra here and race him. Okay, what's he going to do after that race? Because it's going to be the same thing as Grand River, where you just go from the numbers of 5, numbers of our preferred 3, preferred 2, or whatever they want to call it in any jurisdiction. It's not helpful, right? So we'll look for a softer spot for him, but for now, he raced very well at Grand River. We'll see how he races his next start. Tuesday was Greatest Ending. I had somebody message me and say that he raced terrible. No, he didn't race terrible at all. I thought the horse raced very well. He's off 2 months. Off 2 qualifiers at 54, and he's in the Open. Nothing, yeah, exactly. Nothing I saw from that race gave me any pause or any concern with Greatest Ending. Not even in the tiniest little bit. I thought the horse looked great. I thought he raced good, and he did exactly what I assumed and kind of hoped he would do. So I certainly wasn't disappointed in the least with Greatest Ending. Again, understanding the game and managing our own expectations play a major role, and that goes for me too. That's not just you. That isn't me scolding anybody. I'm in the same boat. I've watched lots of races and be like, man, what the hell went on with that horse? Because I expect more sometimes also. So now when it comes to, what are we doing here? 171 South over here, yeah. Lexington and Louisville. Okay. So that was Greatest Ending. I thought he raced good, and I think he'll be fine. Mark messaged me today. I think he's actually, I don't know if he's talked to Megan yet, but I know he asked me, he said, do you think we should send the horse to Megan to race in the Poconos for a couple of weeks? There's a non-winners of 10 race there that would suit him well. There's probably something after that. It'd be good to maybe get him some starts. Many of you don't know this, but Melissa and Mark own a piece of Greatest Ending. So, you know, it's not just him looking at, and I like that he would do that. Just say, he could just say to himself, oh, I'll ship him down there and race him myself. Understanding that it might be more beneficial to just send the horse to Megan, who does a good job. I'm glad that he brought it up. I wasn't going to push, but I'm glad that Mark brought it up and understands that there is an easier path forward. And if it's the easiest place for him to be is at the Poconos till we got him rolling, that's fine. But as Mark said also, when the Meadowlands opens, I think we'll have a lot of fun with this guy at the Meadowlands. So, I'm going to call Randy back now. So it was great to get some feedback from Mark, and it's nice to hear that he'll be sending that horse down to Megan for maybe 2 or 3 weeks until the Meadowlands gets back rolling to race him at the Poconos. So look for Greatest Ending. If you're my partner on Greatest Ending, you will need a Pennsylvania license if you own more than 4%. So keep that in mind for everybody, please. It's very important that we get licensed. There's nothing more frustrating than having a licensing office call me and say, so-and-so isn't licensed or expired. We all know the horses. We all know they're in to go. I'm telling you now, he's going to the Poconos. So, you know, do everybody a favor, including yourself and me, and just have a little look and make sure that your license isn't expired. And if you don't have a license, we can help you facilitate that and get that done quickly. So make sure that you are or in the workings of getting your license done, please. Now, we went to Wednesday, a little trickier Wednesday. Wasn't the race day I wanted for How the Hell. I was very disappointed. Again, I blame myself on that, and I will again, because it was my fault that he made a break. Cutie Cumber had tied up. I guess Megan thought she had tied up we'll get a reading on her blood on Monday also. She is since shipped and is at the Meadows. I just think we need to get there's a softer spot for Cutie Cumber, and we need to get a good mark on this filly as we head into Harrisburg. I need to get her rolling, and you know, you just can't seem to find consistency at the Poconos, so it certainly isn't Megan's fault. It's just circumstances, right? Just the way it works out. So Cutie Cumber will be racing at the Meadows soon. Brace for Landing also landed at the Meadows. I believe they're at the Meadows right now. Same type of thing. Just can't find consistency with this guy. We'll work on him and get him squared back away. And I know I had talked to a lot of the stakeholders in Brace for Landing the other day and just said, quite frankly, I believe in the horse. I always have. He's got talent. He's got speed. He's got the family. He's got a good work ethic. He's got a good attitude. There's nothing stopping this horse from being a good horse, and he is still very immature. So I'm more than happy to double and triple down on him if I have to as we head into the 2024 season later on. Atlas Hanover raced well. He's kind of found a good spot there at Scioto. Well, not Scioto now Dayton. I thought he raced rather well again the other day. I talked to Brett briefly about a number of things. Now, what we also have is if we're going to go racing Corbin, I said to Stacy, she said, you know, we're getting in a place where Yo Mister and Kings County got to race in the Open together. And she's been off 2 weeks. You know, would you mind if we raced them together this week? And I said, yes, but I don't want them racing together, you know, consistently at all, or even at all, if you can help it. She said, well, you know, she was on the brought it up also, said, what about, you know, and because I was talking about Corbin, and she said, what about racing one of them, Corbin, racing Kings County there a couple of weeks and then swapping them out and then sending Yo Mister down and Eric can race them. I said, that's a great idea. I think that would be great. We do need an open trotter at Corbin. Corbin's going to go for good money. It's the first year this track has been open. I got to look and see how far the drive is for me, but they race Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So we'll see if we see how that works out with Corbin. Plus, we'll have Arson and Memory and Imagination there for sure. So it should be a good run for us, I hope. Fingers crossed, I hope. At Cumberland Run is the name. Halakai 3, or the 3rd, whatever you call her, she raced good and looked good, and that filly actually is eligible to pop-up series in Cumberland Run also, Halakai and Cupid Express. Now, I'm a little more leery with Cupid Express. We did put her on Lasix. Now, if we don't race her in the stakes, if there's not stakes that are accommodating her, she too fits pop-up series down there. I want to talk to the race secretary a little bit. He had called me the other day. I believe I talked, Kevin Mack, I believe, is doing it anyway. If I'm not, I'm almost positive Kevin Mack is doing it. We had talked about some other stuff from Oak Grove. Oh, I asked him about to clarify a race, whether it was considered a fair race or a overnight race. So I was talking to him about that, and he had mentioned Cumberland Run. So I want to talk to him about the pop-ups that are coming up. If Halakai or Cupid Express are going to play a role in that, then they can go there also. So between Cupid Express, Halakai, Kings County / Yo Mister, Memory and Imagination, and Arson. There'll be 5 there, and then obviously we have Pickpocket going to the Breeders' Crown. Now we do also have Spitfire Overseas, who is amazing. We'll get to him in a minute. He raced great. He's going to be heading to the what's it called? The Liberty Bell. His next start will be the Liberty Bell, and I know Ronnie had already asked. Said I'd love to go drive the horse. He was trying to stay on the horse for this Wednesday. He's in the numbers of 2, but not more than 4, which is a really good class for him. He should do well in there. Hopefully he does really well in the Liberty Bell. Now that race will be a big race for us, because that will decide whether we just go race him, and I'm fine to do this, race him in the Pegasus and the Carl Erskine, or is he also headed to the Breeders' Crown? I know that Ronnie said he won rather easily the other day with the earplugs in, and the move he made, we don't generally move there. I wouldn't have. I'm glad Ronnie was driving them, because I never would have come out of the 4-hole in front of the grandstand with a power move to the front. I wouldn't have done that, and it was impressive. And I thought the horse looked awesome. So great job by Ronnie. And again, another horse, Indiana. And then we still, I felt bad. I didn't get to conclude my conversation, although I heard Scott say that Megan is in Kentucky right now. So I suspect we'll talk tomorrow more about Tactical Mounds. she said, well, she's got a lot of starts this year, and I know she's hesitant about sending her down a race for 50 or 80 or 70,000. My take on the whole situation is simple. Don't leave money on the table. I know she's a nice mare, and I know she'll be a good 4-year-old, but there's still some 3-year-old money on the table, and quite frankly, she's hit her best stride right now. I don't really want to shut her down right now, but we can discuss it more, certainly, as we talk this week. Because there is two sides to that argument. It isn't one side. It's not just as easy as get it while you can get it. There is more at stake than that. Timing, bringing her back, what she's going to race in next year. There's a lot going on there. So a good conversation to be had. We saw Don't Talk About Bruno end his year kind of fizzled out, you know, outmatched. But before anybody gets too concerned, Resolute Bay did the same thing at 2, and he came back good. And before we say, whoa, Resolute Bay's the veteran's brother. This guy's got a pretty strong family too, and he's got a good attitude. He's not a goof like his 2 brothers. So we'll see how he comes back as a 3-year-old, but I wouldn't be too concerned about Don't Talk About Bruno. Warrior is on his way over to the States this week. Now, it's unlikely we're going to race him. He does have 3 wins or 4 wins, so you got to be careful. It's not a slam dunk anywhere. But there are races for him, and there are places to race him. But I want to get a real good look under the hood this week. Next week, he's going to be training at Northfield Park. I want to see what's going on with Warrior. You probably won't see him surface for a couple of weeks. But when you do, if you do, my hope is that he looks great. If I train him and he just looks tired, well, fine. We'll rest him for 3 or 4 weeks and bring him back. But I have been in this guy's corner for almost 2 years now, and I expect that he will come back and be a 4-year-old. Another horse with a very deep family that I think very, very highly of. So we'll see how that plays out in 2024. Coupe de Ville just continues to look great. Finished second the other night. Fits all those classes through the end of the season. So he said, when are we getting rid of Coupe? And, you know, when's Smoking Hot Irish Girl leaving? Those horses are nowhere near their ceilings. Nowhere near them. They got tons of stuff left for them. So we'll race them right into the fall. And when they do saturate their ceilings, as we head into broodmare season, as we head into the breeding season, Coupe de Ville is a very strong pedigree. Smoking Hot Irish Girl is a very strong pedigree also. I have no concerns with those 2 fillies whatsoever. Divine Zeddy, I'm going to call her Zeddy. She made a break at the gate, has to qualify. I haven't talked to Megan much about her. I talked to her briefly after the race. She said, Tyler said she was too hot. She made a break. And I said, hobbles? Maybe. So I don't know if she's going to qualify there with the hobbles on. I hope she does. She appears to have a lot of talent and a lot to offer. And I know Scott had very nice things to say about her, even in that break. In his first start with her, he thought she was a pretty nice filly and had some pop to her. And then obviously we raced Mounds for all, 2nd place finish. I thought he raced good. So we're having a pretty good week. We head into Friday. Sorry. Now I jumped right over 5 fish species. I jumped over a whole day. I was down here. I didn't talk about a Sliver of Fashion and his white count of 15.5. Told you that in the opening. I jumped right over an entire day. Cupid Express, I thought she raced a little flat, but Ronnie Wren thought she raced great. He said, nah, I got jammed, and I had to get her through the inside. He said, she thought she raced great. Spitfire Overseas, I can't say enough about this horse. The horse looked fantastic the other day. He's got the race Wednesday. He's got the Liberty Bell. Now, this is important because this will be the first time since he had that episode where he AFib'd in the summer where he's down about 3 weeks in a row. I want to see how he looks at the Liberty Bell. I want to see, he looked great the other day. I want to see him race Wednesday at the Meadows. And I'm itching to see how he's going to race at the Liberty Bell because that will really write the entire storyline for him for the rest of the fall for the most part. And again, of course, with 4 lifetime wins, all the talent in the world, he's not going anywhere. I Forbid You, she was a little bit sick, but again, can't really move her like that. And it's hard to explain to somebody how short her burst is. It's very short. But if you can coax her into an attacking position for even half of a 16th of a mile, she can dance. But it's a short dance. It's not a long dance. Major Megan, a little lazy, a little on the right line. I think and there's the other horse that could go to Cumberland Run, but I don't think there's a spot for her there. You know, unless they have Kentucky eligible condition claimers, which I didn't see on the sheet, so I don't think they can go there. Unique Style, I think, is racing good. We're going to swap out B-Lisa and Unique Style. B-Lisa needs to be at the Meadows with no hobbles on. and Unique Style needs to be on a half-mile track on that left line. I think it's a good swap, and I think that both those horses will race much better next week from that. Obviously, we got to see Pickpocket race tremendous. Every so often, I can summon up enough finesse to look like a driver, and certainly did. I think I did a good job, and I think the horse just looked amazing. For him to race as smartly as he did, leave, let one clear to the front, sit right on his helmet, then move in tight quarters, and then slide to the inside and trot as hard as you can to the wire. That's what we tried to teach them all year, and he raced amazing. You're going to see him back in action in the International Stallion next Friday, and then you will see him likely at the Breeders' Crown in Indiana. Remembering Imagination, yes, when you finish 5th, people don't really talk about you that much. He raced fantastic, and he trotted a full second faster than Pickpocket. I think it's fair to say, and I don't think I'm biased, if I'm in the other division with Memory and Imagination, I win that division with him too. So I think that both are very similar, both very, very good colts, and both are going to be very, very good 3-year-olds. And then we got the 5-fish species third, a little short, right, and not used to that 2 move. It was the right move. It's how she's supposed to be driven, but she's just not used to that, and I think she's still got lots to offer the rest of the year. Again, a great conversation to have as we head into the breeding season. Should be bred likely, and I suspect there's a large portion of our ownership model of her, our ownership group of her, that do want to breed her. So again, there'll be some jostling as we get closer to Christmas, I would imagine. The Divine Zeddy, as I said, I'm going to put the hobbles on her, I would imagine. Mounts for All raced great. We moved into Friday. Hopes were high, but drew the outside, much like today with Galaxies. How's Stay Close going to be from way out there? But we didn't start with him. Pay attention. Delicious Stone, I trained him. I thought he trained great. Now, I had a very long conversation with Mark about Delicious Stone DK, and I said, listen, I think he's a winner. If you can put him in a position where you can, move him through like 2-hole, 3-hole, kind of slide through late, you're a winner, I think. Virtually what I was politely asking was, don't be first over with him, right? Because we don't know for sure. Just because he trained good doesn't mean we know for sure. Mark said he is a race car. He said, I tapped him in the tail a couple of times down the lane, but I never pulled the earplugs in. He said to me, I was right behind a wall of horses. If I come first over, I win. For sure, win. So I think you're probably going to watch him do well next week at the Meadows. I suspect we're sitting on a very good performance from Delicious Stone. Just a really, really nice horse. Stay Close outside, got torched a quarter in 26-4, and did bleed a little bit, which wasn't shocking. I wasn't surprised. 1, with the result after I watched the first quarter, and 2, with the results from the scope. You just need to clean him up. When you leave with him, you gotta let him. It's not Mark's fault. He had to do what he did, or he was gonna. Did you just rip all those? What? I don't think you're supposed to do that. So Stay Close gets stretched to the quarter, but race good. Race good. Very, very happy with Stay Close. Quan Blue Chip raced well also, but can he do in there? Much like the Serious Dragon tonight at Mohawk, can he do in there? I don't know. I told Tim to look for some Clash Relief, just jam him somewhere. We get him at a 15 or even a 12 or, heaven forbid, a 10. Just somewhere we can get a good line on him and get him back rolling forward. Last thing you want from an older campaigner like that is to get in a funk and get beat up. You don't want that. So find a spot for him. Arson raced as good as he could, finished 5th, raced his eyeballs out. He's going to go to a little softer bunch, I would imagine, in Cumberland Run. Patrick the Piranha, as soon as Mark got away second last, and that horse got away in the front, race was over. There's not much you can do about him. Just is, that's how the race played out. And Patrick raced, again, another horse raced his ass off. To be second, I thought the horse raced tremendous. J.K. Mickey Mantle's in a funk. We'll wake this guy up and shake his tree a little bit, change his bridle, change his shoes around a little bit again, see if we can't get this guy moving forward. And then J.K. Victory, 4th placed last, I believe. A little bit of monkey see, monkey do. The first horse went through the pylons, and you've been there. It's very hard. When you're following a horse and he goes through the pylons, you're more apt to just follow him in a little bit. You're only talking about this much, right? So I thought we were going to be placed up to 3rd, and I'm like, oh, we're going to get a 3. Oh, wait, our number's blinking too. Not good. And he was set back. So that was Friday. Then we came to tonight again, Think of Galaxy Series System of Sun. We went over all this in a video. Racing is what it is. And then now tomorrow we have Pearl Lucky. So that was our week in racing. We have a number of, looks like my thing's going to top out. I didn't delete enough videos. I might lose you here. And if I do, I'm going to come back with a video talking about, I'm going to stop it, maybe erase all those videos. Talking about the horses I saw today, what I thought was interesting from the 2 consignments that we saw on Sunday. That will be followed up by a much longer video talking about other horses we saw in the consignments. But the storylines of Kentucky this year are cool. They're a little bit different. So I want to talk about those also as we head into Lexington 2023. I can't believe it's here already. Sale starts on Monday. Today's Saturday. Tomorrow we're walking around the entire grounds all day. It's going to be a marathon as we look for our horses that are going to make up our 2-year-olds in 2024. So with that, I'm going to let you go as I have to erase some videos. I'll be back in a minute. We got a lot to talk about. Storylines, horses. Be back in a minute.